What's up, guys? It's Austin for the Normal Investor here. I hope y'all had a great weekend so far and y'all made a lot of money last week in the stock market. Before I get into the video, remember this is all my personal opinion and I'm by no means a stock professional, so you need to do your own research and due diligence. But before let's get into this week's picks, let's look at last week's picks and how they performed. So I'm going to try to get through these as fast as possible, but our first stock last week was BABA, which you all know is BABA. And guys, I'm still very bullish on this. We didn't move much last week, but we are holding this support of around 211, and we're still in this wedge at a resistance now around like 215. And guys, I still have the thesis if this breaks that point, we could be seeing a lot to the upsides, especially if we have any good news in the future. But BABA, I still think is still sickly undervalued, and I'm still going to be buying this over the coming weeks. The second stock from last week, guys, is CRM, and as you can see here, we said in last video that we were trying to break this resistance of around 240.86, and we were making higher lows up to that resistance, and we sure enough did, guys, and we kind of exploded right out of that, and we actually held that resistance, let me extend to the right, as pretty much a new support for the rest of the week. So this played exactly how we wanted it to play, and congratulate if you made some money. As for NNDM, guys, this stock stayed relatively flat the rest of the week, but I'm still watching this for a little bounce off this support here, and a stock that I'm looking to accumulate over the long term just from how low we are from 1812, and I do think this company has a lot of potential in the future. So I'm still watching this, but last week it just didn't perform exactly how we wanted it to. The next stock we were looking at, guys, is ARKF, and as you can see here in the last video, I said that we just crossed the 180-day moving average, and as you know, that tells us that the bulls are now in control over the long term. And sure enough, guys, we had a nice little move from about $50.40 all the way up to sitting at 52 now. So we could see this stock continue to make new higher lows and higher highs just because we're over that and the bulls are in control. So right now ARKF is sitting in a pretty bullish spot, and hopefully we continue to climb higher. Now for the worst performer of the week, we had Intel, and we had the same thesis as ARKF that we had just crossed the 180-day moving average and the bulls were officially in control, but AMD, their competitor, had some really good news last week, and we pulled all the way back down to around 55 from around $58, and luckily we have a new support right around $55 here, and it was a resistance all the way back around October, so be watching this one for a little bit of a bounce, but it didn't go the way we wanted it to this week. But you know what, guys? It's okay that Intel was down because Corsair exploded, and just like we said, guys, this stock had a significant amount of short interest, and sure enough, we went all the way from around $32 all the way up to $42 at highs. So we had about a little more than a $10 move if you sold at highs, which most people probably didn't, but still an explosive move here. So congratulations if you did get into Corsair and you did sell at the highs, or even in like mid 30s, you would have made a good bit of money. But stock did exactly what we wanted to do, and I hope you made some money off of this one. Alright, so now that we've gone over our stocks from last week, let's get into the top picks for this week. And the first one, guys, we have Plug. And as you can see here, we are above the 180-day moving average, which is great. And we're actually pretty close to it. It's sitting around $27.84 to $28 right now. And we're sitting at $29.08. But the big thing is I really like how low we are off the highs here. And there is starting to be a rotation back into these beatdown tech plays. And guys, next week, Plug actually has earnings Tuesday morning. So if any good earnings or any good news come out about the stock in around that time, you could see a good little bit to the upside. And we have this support right here of the 180-day moving average underneath us. So this is a stock I'm really liking how the graph is looking right now. Plus, hopefully we have some good earnings to go off of, and maybe we can see this thing get back up to around the $40 point. But we have a lot of room to run, and it's a stock that I'm looking to hold even long term if it doesn't do what we want to do this week, just because the Biden administration and all the EV plays. This is an EV kind of charging station play, and it's a pretty big one in that industry. So be looking out for this one. This one could make a good move up if earnings are great, but if earnings are bad, we could be easily moving down lower. But luckily we have a 180-day moving average, like I said, that hopefully would act as a pretty strong support. So my second stock for this upcoming week, guys, is SunW. And if you don't know what that is, this is a company that sells solar panels for farmers, for personal use, for homes and stuff like that. And I'm pretty bullish on any company that hits anything to do with that right now, because if you know, with the Biden administration's really pushing clean energy and stuff like that, and if you agree with it or not, this is going to give a lot of incentives for these companies and people to buy their products. So as you can see, I'm just showing you the site here, kind of what they do, but if you look at the chart, we're actually at a long-term support here. We had a resistance right here all the way back in January, and you can see it then was a long-term support where we touched here, and we held it multiple times in the last couple of weeks. But I'm gonna zoom in on the 20-day chart just to show you how we're holding this a little bit better here, and we're also getting really close to breaking back above that 180-day moving average. So all in all, guys, there's no just huge catalyst coming up for this company, but I think this is a great long-term trade, and I think you could see a pretty significant move in the next couple of weeks, especially if anything comes out on this stock. And also, by the way, guys, it is 15% shorted, so if you get this in the right hands of certain Reddit groups or stuff like this stock could have a nice little bounce if you could get a couple of people behind this stock. So be watching this one. It might not move just insane in the short term, but this is a stock that I'm looking over the next couple of years could be a big mover. The next stock I'm watching closely this week, guys, is TTCF. If you don't know, this is Tattooed Chef, and basically it's a vegan food company that they're starting to really get into some of these retail stores like Target, and I actually saw it when I went to Sam's Club a couple weeks ago, and it's a product that's moving pretty good off the shelves. But as you can see here, we've had a great couple of past weeks here, and there's a lot of momentum, but the last couple of days and last probably two weeks or so, we've seen a little bit of a sell-off off of this like 23.4 level, and we're getting really close to this 180-day moving average. And personally, guys, I'm looking for a bounce off of that, especially this with the momentum we have and this rotation that we're starting to see back into these growth stocks. So this is a stock I'm watching closely. If we get really close to this 180-day moving average, this is probably where I'll buy into the stock a little bit, and I would use that as a stop loss if it breaks below that by 20 or 30 cents, that I'd probably be looking to get out. But also, the guys, I probably might not, because this is a stock I'm comfortable holding long term, and I actually do own some in my long term account. So be watching this stock. I really think you're going to see this keep on momentum, and this could be a little bit of a pullback to get into the stock. Now, for my last stock that I'm really watching this next week, it's Gnog, and as you can see, guys, I've got the graph pulled up, but in the last, I actually think it was 2 videos ago, I told y'all that this stock was in this wedge and you could see a breakout, and sure enough, we did get that breakout. But over the last week, we've pulled back down, and we're getting close to that long-term support, as you can see at this trend line I have here. And guys, this is a stock I'm still looking to, at this point, even maybe buy some leap options on if we get back really close to that 12 level. But I think this stock has a lot of opportunity to go higher, and it's a stock that people haven't really noticed that it hasn't gone up as much as the other growth stocks have the last couple weeks. So I think this stock is due some momentum up to the upside. So this is one I'm watching closely, and I probably will buy into this week. Now, if you're still watching, guys, first off, I want to say I really appreciate the support, and comment down if any of those past stocks you're excited for this upcoming week. But now I'm going to bring you 2 more stocks that I'm looking to do more of a quick trade, and I'm not really looking to hold these long term. But the first one, guys, is Facebook, and as you can see, I have the 20-day chart pulled up, and we're starting to trade within this channel from support around 327.87 and the resistance being that 338 to 339 level. But we having a hard time breaking that 338, and we are selling back off to this low of around 327. So watch Facebook, see if it sells off a little bit more, and I'm possibly looking at getting into a short-term call if we do get closer to that 328, 327 level. And for the next one, I have CAT, which if you don't know, that's Caterpillar, and this is a heavy equipment construction company, and we have had a nice little sell-off all the way from 246 down to 205, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. But we're holding two resistance. It's about 90 days ago as new supports, and we're holding them quite well, as you can see. Let me zoom in a little closer, but we're really trying to hang on to this 2085 level. So if we can maybe have a slight pull up here, I would be interested in buying a call onto cat just to see if we get a dead cat bounce off of this levels and maybe have a couple dollar move to the upside. So be watching these two. These could be some nice little short-term plays just on technicals. And you know, as always, guys, before the video ends, we got to go over SPY and QQQ to see where the overall market's looking before we get into any trade on any stock, because ultimately this can dictate the moves of individual stocks if the market's going green or if it's going red. So first up, we have SPY, which is a ETF that tracks S&P 500. And guys, it was a bloodbath Thursday and Friday for this ETF and the S&P 500. As you can see, we were at a high of 426.21, and we broke actually 2 or 3 key supports of around 423.96 and 420, 421 range, and then we even broke 418. And guys, depending on how this goes Monday, you could see a continued sell-off down to 406 so we don't have a recovery and break this resistance around 418. So be watching SPY and see if we get a bounce back, or if we have a continued sell-off Monday. This is going to be really interested to see how this goes the rest of the week, and Monday is going to be a crucial day for SPY. Now, as far as QQQ, we didn't get hit quite as bad as SPY. We did have not the best day Thursday and Friday, but we are still very close to all-time highs, and we are right under this resistance and support, well, was support of 342. So I'd be interested to see if we gap back up above that Monday, or if we sell off back down to around 336 level. So it's important. Monday is going to be a very crucial day in the market, so be watching what QQQ and SPY is doing before you get into anything, and make sure you don't buy anything, any calls when the rest of the market's just tanking, because it's very well possible, but we could see a recovery Monday. And that's it for the video today, guys. I hope you found a stock that you enjoyed and you're looking to get into next week. If you disagree with anything I said, please put it in the comments, because at the end of the day, I'm always trying to learn, and I hope you are as well. That's how we better each other. And again, remember, all this is my personal opinion. I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and let's make some money this upcoming week. Have a good one, guys.